Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to EUSC, the inaugural EUSC, the first one we've ever done. Knockout style tournament between teams representing both the EUSL and the EUSA. We already had a group stage where there were, I don't know math. I think there were 16 teams. So you think that there were, oh wait, I have it on my screen. Yeah, so there were four groups of four, or no, four groups of three rather. And then each of those teams within each pool played the other team once for a total of 2 games apiece. And then the teams who had the top two teams in each group that had the best record qualified for the knockout bracket, which we're about to cover now with this first matchup between Lockdown and VAS. They were both the seeding once you got out of your pool was completely random. So unlike more like conventional tournaments, like I don't know, like the Champions League or the World Cup, we've got 2 1 seeds playing each other instantly straight out of pool play, which is miserable. Usually you'd expect these tougher matchups later than the quarterfinals, but no, we got Lockdown and VAS going at it already. So this is probably in the making for a very nail-biting, tough best-of-3 series, especially given both have very strong records in EUSL. Currently, they've each taken a game off of each other at this point through weeks. I don't know. What week are we? Some week. Any case, yeah, looking forward to this, and it should be a good game.
I think we are in week 7 if I'm correct, but might not be true. But as you say, we're seeing VAS against Lockdown. It's gonna be a tough game for both of those teams. Both of them have proven themselves as very good teams. Now it depends on who can lock in more. No pun intended there. But let's see how this goes.
We have an Auten City start, which is, yeah, that's in the pool. That's not in the EUSL pool anymore. So interesting to see this one coming out. We do also have the triple among start. So my guess is that once again, it creates a sort of weird situation where everyone's going to take the among. Understandably, we see VAS banning out the IME likely to, I mean, I assume it's probably like you don't want Geo on the IME, but I mean, I feel like Geo's got such a deep character pool. There's probably some other element of that IME ban that is why that's being sent out. Then we see the rune coming out from Lockdown. It's another interesting one. I guess that's because of the 1-2 value there. Could definitely run away with the lobby, especially because the barriers are so big. You can cover out clear and take a lot more barriers with those pillars than you could on maybe a more confined map. But yeah, and then obviously we see the Kai insta-locked. Go figure, just like so good in general, especially good on Auten City. So yeah, we'll see how the rest of this draft shakes up afterwards. But already looking to be a pretty conventional setup.
Yeah, seeing Estelle coming next, paired with Drakar, both very good strikers on Athens City. And yeah, Among Titans very useful for Kai. He's gonna speed around no matter what, and Among Titans does it even more. I don't think anyone's gonna take 1-2, but could be.
I think it's so circumstantial. Like, maybe there's an argument for 1-2 on Juno, but then just by default, you're 10% slower than everyone else on the field, which is like not a negligible difference. So I would not also be surprised if there's absolutely no taking of the 1-2. Lockdown is really just sticking to their guns here. I assume that's Geo on the Estelle, Sison on the Drek. This is a comp that we've seen constantly this year. So long as they've been allowed to have it, it seems like this is their go-to. This is their bread and butter regarding their midfield and brawler pairing. We do have an era. Frankly, for VAS, like, Alex could be on any 3 of these characters, and I wouldn't hate you for it. I assume Era goalie. If I had to guess, just I feel like generally you get more value out of Era in the goal than in the midfield in most instances. But now Sloth is taking his sweet time to pick his goalie. It's going right down to the wire. Ultimately just opts for the Atlas. I've spoken to him about his week 1 game on Auten City where he locked the Atlas, and it seemed like he locked it just because he had no other choice. I don't think he rates the pick on Auten very much, so it's interesting to... maybe I'll have to pick his brain on the reasoning behind why he went with it again, but there we see. Like, this is literally just like, this is Lockdown's default comp right here, so really not doing anything special here.
Yeah, I thought Slav would go with the Drakkar goalie. I've seen him do that quite a lot. But Atlas is just the signature of Slav, I think. So, good pick for him. Comfortable. So, let's see if they actually can lock in and get that win.
Yeah, I think like Atlas, it's like give or take. Like if the brawler's not standing on you, you can like I believe he's gonna take strike shot. That's every time I've seen him play Otten said he's taken strike shots. Like you can kind of influence the play, but you're also just like you can't. I guess maybe you just accept the fact that no matter what goalie you are in Otten City, you just can't hold the barrier very well. But yeah, I guess it's also because we've got Alex on the era goalie, so that might have. Well, I don't know if Alex is the era goalie, but that might have been what slowed down Slav's decision-making process there. Maybe he wanted to lock the era, and then the era was taken away from him at the 11th hour. But I guess we'll have to see. In any case, yeah, more, like also pretty strong comp coming out of the side of VAS. No lockdowns on their end, which is probably more of a conventional lineup for Aten City. I guess really could just come down to who gets Orb Dancer. That Loki seems to be how half of these games go. Okay, it's actually Venom Yami on the era, so I stand completely corrected. Like I said, it was really you could flip a coin in any one of those VAS picks could have ended up in between the sticks. So not too fussed about that. But yeah, and okay, but I will say I will bet my life savings that it's Atlas in between the sticks. Yes, it is. Okay, looking forward to this game.
Yeah, that would have been a turnaround if Atlas would be forward here. But it makes sense to have Kai in the goal box, especially on Athens City where there is only one barrier. If that's gone, your goal is just open and Kai can defend that quite well. Whereas Slav might be in trouble having an open goal right now.
Yeah, I guess firsthand evidence of the struggles of a lockdown here on Aten City. Just so difficult to defend such a massive space, both in the open end and the barrier. But Slav's putting on a clinic, frankly, has had a couple good interactions already. Granted, those interactions came at the cost of a couple of very valuable abilities. I think he has primary on deck now, but certainly will not have the circle for a couple more seconds. But that does not seem to be an issue for him, given that the ball has been funneled up the other end of the field. Geo having to play footsie around that Maelstrom there, but he's able to do so, and with the help of Scythe, keep that ball up on the end of the field. But bit of a reversal of the tempo here. Alb's already up to full flip, has been grabbing orbs for fun, meaning he is definitely threading this goal arc. But so is the side of Lockdown here, really trying to make things happen in the corner. Scythen was just trying to get into a position to maybe knock that in with the shotgun, but it was not to be. And there we go, the first goal actually right up the other end of the field. Alves tapping that in, not even having to expend burst. So good stuff from the side of VAS, getting their first point on the board.
Yeah, interesting round. And as you said, Slav went with the strike shot, which helps him a lot with just keeping the core forward. We've seen that at the last point where they could attack quite for a long time, but as soon as the core comes back into their side, Alex just runs forward and helps to put it in.
Another thing I'm noticing already is that it seems like VAS is winning the orb battle. It seems they're always they always have command of the energy situation. They always have flips. Somehow Sloth is dead there. That's insane. He must have thought the Maelstrom was going to expire just a smidgen before it did, and now he puts his team in a very sticky situation. Granted, Scythen and Geo, no slouches when it comes to defending, but slouching a bit there as Alves taps him right in the face with that primary for a good goal off of an unfortunate goalie death. I'm not even really sure how that happened. That Maelstrom looked very avoidable, but I only saw it out the corner of my eye, so it might have been a checkmate.
Yeah, I've also not really focused on that, but they managed to hold up the 2v3 quite well. Just a little bit too little.
Wolves once again doing some incredible work to take the barrier early on. Good application of the stun off the ultimate onto, I'm not even sure who was defending one of them, but in any case it was the right one, because now once again Sloth has lost his barrier within like the first 15 seconds of a point. And up the other end of the field, I think Alex has only lost one. And there we go, another flip, this time coming out from Scythe, getting Alves off the map, which is a great situation. Granted, Venom in a position to help police the midfield, leveraging that mobility and that Maelstrom. Crazy find! A crazy, like, close range melee Maelstrom find on to Giovanni there, meaning that this is like that you would never have expected these two teams to be outputting the damage they are, but they currently are just killing up the wazoo, which is insane. Not in my bingo card for this match, but Scythe and Alves now duking it out in that top lane, but Alves coming out the better, knocking that into bot lane. Slav almost scrambling, almost shot by there off the redirect, but able to diffuse the situation, as is Alex. And now we're just kind of in a little bit of a melee here. No team really being able to find a breakthrough.
Yeah, the point still goes on. Gio had a flip, but Venom saw the winning condition of the point and took him out. And now Gio takes this opportunity and puts it in with the Estelle beam.
Yeah, that was a great find, and I guess Venom was probably just out of range to strike for that. Didn't even throw out a strike. That said, you know, it was a good point for lockdown, but it looks like their backs are going to be up against the wall here, given just how many flips the side of VAS has. Granted, one was just blown for absolutely no value, but you do get the circle out of Sloth, so I think that's an okay trade, especially given that flips are a lot easier to come by here on this map. That's probably about even. But anyways, everyone's in bot lane. Scythe was threatening with the Drek Invis to pick up a kill, but was unable to do so. But Flip has now been taken out of Alex, but this guy is just positioning to perfection. It's inch perfect movement there to somehow hold on to the barrier with just strike. Alves also holding on to his life there in top lane. The Scythe and ult just not enough to do it. Great flip by Slav. Equally great kill, but I believe it was Alves with the primary. Now Scythe is not looking too hot either, but he's managing to hang on. So is Slav, but once again unable to space around that primary. That situation happened twice this game. Alex with just good usage of his abilities to secure those goals in top lane. And Alex securing the MVP, frankly well deserved, held it down so well on this Kai, so we'll see what he picks.
And we see here aerials, hotshot, peak. There's a lot of speeds to put on top the speed they already have. And Alex going for the hotshot, the cooldown. Slav going for the siege machine, and yeah.
And yeah, we see Alves picking up the speed. That's understandable. Geo a bit hesitant to commit to anything early on. Ultimately opts to take the aerials, maybe concerned that it wasn't going to get to the direct. Scythe opting instead to take extra special. Venom Yami rounding out the pack with the CTL, which could prove vital. I think that there's one team with decidedly more mobility at this point, given that you've got an Arrow with Among and CTL, and you've also got Erasmus that's just picked up peak performance. So every brawler, every forward on the side of VAS is now faster than their counterpart, which could prove to be a win con. Given the nature of this map, Sloth once again losing his barrier early on in this point. It just seems like Scythe and Geo are having a much tougher time breaking through, but they finally do find the breakthrough there in that top corner, which is some good stuff. Equally good stuff from Sloth coming out there to just about get out in front of that ultimate from Alves, meaning he holds on. And likewise, not likewise, conversely, Venom Yami unable to hold on to his life there. We do have a power play, but Alex playing giga aggressive there, pushing up well beyond the midfield line. And once again, buying his team some valuable time in this power play as things settle back into a 3v3 right at overtime.
Yeah, again, we had the situation where Geo had to flip and did not find anything with it. But Alves just puts it in, not even needing the flip.
That was a pretty beastly play by Alves there, or maybe a beastly strike shot missed by Sloth. But you know, it's harder to hit in overtime, so I'll cut him some slack. In any case, once again, well-timed strike by Alex to deal with that situation in top lane, no problem. Now, Scythe and Geo, it just feels like they're receiving the ball so deep, and once they get it, there's no one to pass it to, no way to advance it up through this wall of Alves and Venom Yami. And there, the wall, once again, proving its worth. Wow, crazy solo by Alves. Not to mention Venom there, careening forward to help build that box with the Arrow primary. That looked like a pretty tough checkmate for Slav, and yeah, he just eats the primary since he has no dodge there. So another great confirm by the side of VAS.
Yeah, that primary came out very clutch there, hitting him at max range, stunning Slav. Already we see Slav again losing barrier instantly when the point begins. But can they push forward like they do in other rounds as well?
They do right there, which is definitely good. You want to take barriers here. I think that's been the struggle for this lockdown team. Thus far, Alex has just been positioning fantastically and able to find these strikes and these good layers off of his midfielders to hold, but does lose the barrier in this instance. But it's all for naught. The point is moot because the goal is once again conceded by the side of lockdown here. VAS really has their number heading into what could potentially be a final set of this first game unless lockdown's able to turn it around. So we'll see.
Yeah, Alves having here the MVP, no size for Rasmus to be had here. Unfortunately, he goes to bulk up, Slav picking up the team player, which can be very valuable on that map. It's so open.
I think, yeah, bulk up, good synergy, because Alves, not only is he slightly faster now, like, it's a matter of percentage points, like, who cares, but more importantly, he's able to kill more, which I think is something they've been finding as a team, this vast team, these kills out of nowhere. So I think these kills will maybe even come a little thicker now that Alves is one, faster, and two, stronger. So I think that's a huge pickup. Not to mention the Manu era. I mean, you don't gotta I don't gotta tell you how scary Manu era is. But up the other end of the field, we do see Scythen picking up Glass Cannon, which is, I mean, he's the brawler, so perhaps that's not terribly valuable. But if he goes for a long spell without getting hit, might be able to make a couple things happen. And Geo, more importantly, getting the stacks on stacks, which once again, it's just what? Who cares? Who cares? Because you just lose. You just lose within 30 seconds. Another great redirect found by Alves into the bot lane there.
Yeah, also looking at the level difference, Siphon still being level 5 and both of us being level 8 already, and where nobody on lockdown is level 8. And Siphon trying to hit it with the core flip that does not find it.
Man, I mean, maybe it's just not their day. Maybe it's just not their game, rather. I guess that kind of just summed up the game that Lockdown's having. Just a little bit off the mark with their execution of their plays, and it means that, yeah, once again, Alves barnstorming, bursting down the door. I feel like it's probably on a run of like seven or eight goals without a single lockdown response, which is insane. Usually these teams go like they duke it out. Usually they're pretty neck and neck, but it seems like, yeah, this is looking like a comp diff to me, honestly. And there we go. The barrier is gone, and here comes the flip. Can Venom land the plane? Looking to put the style on there, but nothing coming of it. But still, the net is open, and that Giga Blast got that one. Crazy way to seal the deal. Decisive victory. If I'm not mistaken, that was either a 9-0 or a 9-1. Like, very comprehensive blowout of this lockdown team by VAS, and they're positioning themselves well to take this series in a 2-0.
Yeah, well done from VAS right there. And it kind of felt like it wasn't really the playstyle of lockdown. I mean, the name says it, they just want to lock it down, but when you need to play for speed and on an open map, it's felt like it wasn't their playstyle.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, it's just like, yeah, it's rough. I don't know if into super fast opposition, like we were seeing here. It might have low key just been like Atlas not being able to help on offense at all, because he's just so slow. Because you could, up the other end of the field, you see Alex. Sure, he has less saves, but he didn't need to make as many saves because he was interacting higher up the field because of his speed, and he was also helping form these triangles around the midfield, around the enemy goal arc, just being a passing option that Sloth was incapable of really being as an Atlas with like a bit of speed, like 10% speed. But everyone's got 10% speed. So yeah, I think honestly, they just, what's it called? The side of VAS just had a much better core control lineup. And not to mention, we just had some crazy hero plays by Scream Alves here in this series. He did a lot of really, really good things, be it hit stunning, be it finding crazy angles, be it taking barriers. I think that was a very solid performance from the VAS forward, especially.
Oh yeah, definitely. Lockdown just could not handle VAS straight up. And having their signature comp, I think they need to reconsider what they're picking for the next match to stay in this game and having a chance to win and get those sweet points on the board.
I think another, like definitely a different map here coming up in Taiko Temple. This was VAS's pick actually, and now that I'm seeing it, Lockdown is the one that picked Auten City there. I feel like they must have expected a very different game than what they ultimately got. If they picked Auten City just to get 9-1 in 11 minutes, but VAS, so I'm VAS getting the home turf advantage here coming into this decisive game 2 on Taiko Tempo. As I said, very different orientation, especially with heavy impact. This is going to probably be a very different game. Team player heavy impact start on Taiko Temple. I think maybe Slav will lock the Atlas again here. One, he'll get a lot more value. And two, yeah, I mean, like I said, VAS, they love their damage. And this heavy impact's going to make that damage somewhat inevitable and somewhat unavoidable. So I think that the texture of this match is going to be completely different to what we just saw, for better or for worse.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen a couple of KOs on Auten City, which is not really a KO map. Going onto Taiko with heavy impact and probably 6 heavy impacts, because team player, I don't know how much value you get out of it on Taiko. Probably on a goalie, depends on it, but I'd put my money on 6 heavy impacts.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a possibility. I do think like team player is extremely valuable in goalie, even if you're not like intentionally passing to someone, especially if you're defending and you just have a teammate layering with you. That means your clears are just by default so much faster. So no matter the map, there is utility for getting the ball out the back. But this could be a bad omen. This could be a harbinger of things to come. Like the Zentaro brand, very understandable. Alves loves his Zentaro, and you do not like, especially with this heavy impact. I feel like you're just in it to die if you allow that Zentaro through. But up the other end, VAS has banned the Atlas, meaning the only healer that could be left in the pool is now, and I've never seen Geo play now in my life. But it doesn't even seem like that is the game plan from Lockdown. They first pick the Vice. They're fighting fire with fire. I think this is going to probably be a kill heavy game plan from both teams. We say the Zentaro responded with in kind, 2 absolute killers to start off this draft, and we'll see if this trend continues.
Yeah, Vice insta-lock, kinda obvious here. I think Lockdown is saying, hey, you put us down 9-0 or 9-1, whatever it was. We're just going to put you off the map, so we definitely win here. But let's see what they take.
The Estelle. I mean, Estelle is also just kind of born to do damage. You know, a lot of people could see her as a core control character, especially in lower elos, but no, she just kills people. She just kills people for fun. So I think VAS also, incidentally, or perhaps by design, I don't want to say incidentally, by design, also taking Geo off of his patented Estelle, which is maybe why there's such a big delay here locking in the next character for Lockdown. Ultimately, the Aimi comes out. Frankly, I'm not. I wonder. This could go either way for me. This could be like Aimi Vice as the 2 forwards. It could be Aimi as the goalie, Vice as the goalie. Like any of these is a completely feasible pick for me. So I think we'll need to wait on this last Lockdown pick to really begin to suss out how they could be approaching this game. But yeah, I mean everyone on the board here currently, unless you're a goalie, I think you take heavy impact here. So this could get really nasty.
Oh, definitely. And picking Juno here as Lockdown, I'm actually not quite sure who's goalie here. Either one can be, as you said.
Slav Juno. He plays Juno like a lot. I think he's even played Juno goalie on Taiko Temple in EUSL this season, if I'm not mistaken. He definitely did it on the lab. But I would put money on, yeah, we got Vice and Aimi as their 2 brawlers, and then Juno in between the sticks. But yeah, I still, like, that's my guess, but it really could be anyone. And then VAS, a little more conventional, for sure.
But this is going to be a great game. We have no Lockdown goalies here who just make the game unnecessarily long. which we tend to see on Taiko Temple, where we have Atlas and Duvo in the goal box, and Core just goes round and bounces where it wants to. But here, this is gonna be interesting. We're probably gonna see Alex again on the Kai, I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's probably the most likely outcome here. I think especially Kai is a particularly squishy character. I think unless you're really good at playing for your life, you tend to die a lot as Kai midfield on Taiko Temple. I think that element, his squishiness, is not as big of a concern as if you're the goalie because you're not getting hit as much. So I think you're probably right. It's probably Alex on the Kai again. I mean, also just did extremely well on the Kai. So I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I guess we'll see exactly how these lineups shake up in just a second as we load into this game from the lockdown perspective, though. Yeah, as I foretold, Slav with his signature, maybe not signature, his known Juno goalie, and Geo and Scythen looking to just lay down the pain quicker than the members of this VAS team can. It is once again Alex in between the sticks with eject button. Interesting enough, we're also seeing Venom Yami picking up the team player, which it's a little unexpected for me. I would have expected heavy impact. That's quite strong on Estelle, but obviously team player is quite strong on midfield as well. So I'm sure there's a reason that I just don't understand. In any case, here we go. We're getting into things right now.
I mean, makes sense for Venom to tank team player, as they just won a game pretty heavily with core control. But they need to handle the damage, of course, here.
Yeah, and I think heavy impact Estelle is quite potent. But like I said, so is team player. I think it's probably just preference at that point. In any case, Alves looking to do a lot of crazy strikes there, crazy ability usage to try to take the barrier, but Sloth is patient, bides his time, finds the out clear. Looks like we're doing a lot of patient defense. That was a good sequence by Sloth, but there's just one too many buttons and he just falls for it. He falls for old reliable. Oh, there we go. Kazan hook already, Alves. Perhaps a sign of things to come. Putting on the style with that primary and getting the first goal before overtime, mind you. So I guess, yeah, there really are no lockdowns here.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of last game, where I don't actually know if we went all the time to overtime, but I think so.
And there were a few overtime points. I think there were also a couple quickies as well, especially if Atlas lost his barrier early on. It kind of just snowballed from there. In any case, we got two flips on deck. Alex looking to threaten with it, but can't linger for too long. Opted for the eject button rather than like the mom boots or the strike shot. Good strike war by Scythen though to keep that ball out of dodge. Also good footsie by Giovanni to not take a giga blast to the face there. Also a really solid series of interactions won there in top lane, but could be on the way out here. Somehow manages to walk around that open umbrella primary from Alves, but is still looking to be in a very precarious situation as the ball is forced through him by Sloth, who continually feeds the ball to his dying midfielder. But Geo seems to have... Okay, I was about to say no. It seems to be no problem for Geo, but then he just gets absolutely annihilated off the map. And great find there to bottom corner by Alves, who also puts the primary onto Sloth. Sloth unable to get the flip out in time. So another good sequence there by the side of VAS.
Wow, what a play from Venom. I was following him specifically when he was low, and he managed to dodge Siphon's primary by like 1 pixel or so, and getting an orb also, and then even scoring. So perfect play from him right there.
Good defense of the double barrier attempt by Scythen, who I don't think has even let a single ultimate rip yet, despite getting to level 2. Might have to use it here to get these members of VAS off of him. Instead, hits a really good microspace to outlast that Kazan primary. Up the other end of the field, Sloth is being forced into flip, which means this barrier is probably gone if Venom Yami has any sort of buttons, but opts to just try to win the interaction with Strike, which he does to excellent effect. Wow. Okay, Alves. Crazy sequence there. Good usage of the back bumper to throw off Sloth's timing. And once again, the timing thrown off there with a bit of a wayward dash to bot plane as the ball is once again just worked past the poor lockdown goalie on this Juno. And Alves getting all 3 goals on the set there and rewarded with first pick. I see a rampage, so that could... And a stinger. There's a lot of bad things here. Christ.
Oh wow, yeah. Special training, yeah. Picking it away, and it's also good on Kazan. And Rampage, is okay, one size, but I think special is probably better right here.
And then Venom picking up the bulk up, which that's a strong pick. Not to mention Slough getting this stinger out of the Juno. Oh my god, he's done it again. Wait, it's not actually no, it's not Geo this time. It's Scythen that goes for the OIA. I can kind of understand the rationale. Obviously, Alves looked a little bewildered there, but I feel like Scythen has accepted that he's already being targeted for damage constantly, given that he's the Vice. He's their most valuable asset when it comes to dealing this damage, so the side of VAS is trying to get him off the map. So I think he's accepted that he's going to get hit either way. So if he's going to get hit and likely killed, he might as well be faster for the fickle, fleeting moments where he's alive. So I honestly understand the OIA pickup completely, even if it means that we're not even halfway through the point, he's already half dead. But in any case, unfortunate loss of the second barrier there. It seemed like the side of Lockdown finally had something going, but once again, just snubbed out by a really good primary out of Alex. Sloth trying to help with the defense here, but it's just not quite successful. And Scythen eating a Giga to the face is not what you want to see, but is able to hold on and actually is not the lowest lockdown stagger bar on this map. It's actually Geo.
Wow.
And Geo, once again, unable to do anything about those crystal thorns from Venom Yavi, dotting that ball right into the top corner for another goal for VAS. 4 in a row.
Yeah, Lockdown needs to score fast. They are all in right here. If they do not manage to put it in, they just get scored on because it's just too much for Slav to defend. And being in a 2-3 situation is not great for them right now. As they manage to hold both pairs for now, and Gio coming back, but Siphon swaps him out on the bench. And there is a 3v2 again.
Man, really good collapse, but an equally smart clear found from Slow now. Okay, well, he did one good thing. That was a really good middle clear there to somehow get the ball out between the triangle that was being built of this fast team. But then, yeah, I think he gets stunned by something such that the flip gets delayed. So long that it almost looks a little embarrassing. But it's fine. Just shake it off, as this lockdown team has to do, given the state of the game. It's just so decidedly out of their favor. There goes Alex setting up a brilliant double through Alves, and there's just so many buttons coming out in Sloth's face, who has no dodge, is able to microspace around that open umbrella primary, though, meaning that he hangs on. He also somehow works it around that beam, and Alex not actually opting to flip there, instead opting to not outlast his eject button cooldown, perhaps scared of getting caught on the overcommittal there. Sloth once again looking for these middle clears and finding a corner clear off of that strike from Alves, but it's a constant onslaught of pressure coming out of this vast team who's continually finding these kills. They're not even, like, they're finding kills onto the guy who doesn't even have an OIA. That's how efficient they are right now in the damage department. Scythen looking to try to shut down the play in the midfield before it can get to Sloth, because once it gets to Sloth, that happens because Sloth has no energy. And there we go, another 3-0 from VAS. And now they're just one set, 3 points away from progressing to the semifinals of the EUSC.
Yeah, this is the draft that counts for Lockdown. Either now or never. As love going for prime time, a very good awakening on Juno, just having more blobs. But seeing God Scream Elves taking up some size is not what you want to see.
I think it's... Yeah, I mean, Kazan wins this draft no matter what, frankly. Because if you take his demo, he takes primetime. If you take his primetime, he takes demo. Even though he's in third pick, he's not even in pole position. There are just too many good things for this Kazan to take in. Not enough blue bodies out in front of the draft to do anything about it. In any case, yeah, I mean, this Kazan is now even more beastly than he was before. But granted, Slough now has prime time with Stinger, means that he might actually be able to get a lot more damage onto this team. I mean, especially if you can get, like, the Alex off the field somehow, that might open things up. But, I mean, Alex is not, I mean, there's someone else in the lobby with so much less stagger than that goalie. Scythen, once again, just like only 4 notches of health on level 4 as well. So he's honestly the designated game pinata at this point. Also, almost eating that beam to the face. Does eat the prime time to the face, but gets a crazy goal. Man, there we go. And also gets a kill onto Alex, which will be so big for his level specifically. Gets up to level 5. almost to level 6 with that kill and that goal. So going to be a little healthier now. Is up to almost 5 ticks a stagger instead of 4. So that's what you want to see.
Yeah, the all-in finally paid out, right?
It took him long enough. But there we do. He does get a goal. That's Lockdown's first goal in like 50 billion years, frankly. First goal on the game, for sure. Oh, Scythen once again might be right place, right time to take the barrier, but Alex doing a good job too to delay with Barrage, meaning that he holds on to both. Scythen is just getting punished. It's just getting doomed to be in the corner. Hits the get off me ult to try to get away from Alves. Leaves his post in the midfield, meaning that it's now Geo and Sloth on their own in the back up against Alves. But they're able to get hit out of his face. But get out of my face says, I think that was Alves. It might have been Venom. Someone telling that poor Scythen to just get off the map. Once again, Geo being forced to blow the flip to just buy himself a bit more time. Misses the dangle, meaning that the barriers are still up for the side of VAS, who now Alex is looking to threaten with flip, opts not to expend it, perhaps wisely. Instead, the ball goes into Venom, who gets the gold, no problem, just with an ult and a beam. So, we now have a flip on deck for Alex still, which is incredible. You want to be winning energy economy on this map for sure.
Well, this game has turned out not as how I had thought of. I mean, Venom and Alex finding the KOs on both forwards and having picked team player is kind of interesting right there.
Oh, good grief, man.
No.
That was that entire point was so funny. The fact that it bounced in, it didn't double. The ult was held long enough for it not to double, and then Alv just cut his losses and only took top barrier. That was such a funny interaction. Then so was the rest of the point. Sloth just dying for fun, and now we're in a situation where, yeah, Lockdown, they have to score. They just lose. They're gone. They go home. This is really, it's coming down to the wire, and they're luckily Sloth locking in there, able to find the clear out around this huge Kazan, and also the first barrier has been taken for Lockdown, which is good. You want this for momentum, but the momentum is just dead in its tracks because their third forward just has to leave to go get an orb every other minute, it seems. But once again, Alex holding like a beast. His stagger is also healing back up to full remarkably quickly. There's not even really a kill opportunity left on this Kai. It just seems like Lockdown cannot find the breakthrough because they can never position consistently to get the breakthrough. I mean, they're just getting knocked around and around and around, and also a series of smart clears off the backboard found by Alex and Venom Yami there to continue to hold on to this barrier. It just looks hopeless. The situation genuinely looks hopeless. They cannot get this barrier.
How long is the core staying down there? Alex just defending so well right there. And by the way, just killing Siphon and Chio as they like and feel like it. Now it's 1-1 on barriers on this match point right now. Siphon getting the second barrier from VAS. Venom on the attack though with a flip. Can they save this right here?
I was so scared Sloth was going to die there, man. Oh, good reaction. There we go. Hits a really risky cross clear to Geo, but Alves is not quite big enough to get it with the closed umbrella primary. Sloth looking to keep the core speed up into Scythen. Scythen misses the redirect, though, and then dies. He dies. We're down to a 2v3 to seal this matchup. Sloth once again swing in a miss. Great secure by Venom Yami, hitting that really troublesome angle. And that was a cumulative 18-2 victory for VAS across these two games. Lockdown could not keep pace with this insane scoring output, let alone the killing output. Really well played by VAS, and you do not want to play them. Whenever they have an opportunity to do damage, they will hurt you. They will hurt you a bunch. That is 7, 8, 9 kills in 13 minutes. Not to mention the damage totals. And yeah, even though Scythen was able to put up a lot of damage on the board, the conversions into kills, into KOs, into power plays were just not there for this Lockdown side, who bow out of the EUSC in the quarterfinals. Probably one of the favorites to take the whole thing. So definitely, if not an upset, definitely just like unexpected that we're seeing, frankly, a giant bow out this early. But the random seeding will do that to you. What a tough match to have in the quarterfinals. But VAS coming out the better, winning on the day and progressing to the semis of the first ever EUSC.
Oh, definitely. VAS is proving right here that they are number one right now, and they've shown it. Not even taking heavy impact and just having so much more KOs than Lockdown right there is kind of insane to see.
But yeah, I think that is the best of 3 series done and dusted. So I think that's actually it for this particular series. We'll throw you to Purgatory in the meantime, and we'll hit you with some more games later. So that's all from us. See you around.